last offseason, it seemed like it was going to be the Clippers' year. They were going to come out on top, but it didn't happen. Seemed like it became dysfunctional. Seemed like there was problems. We heard they never practiced. Seemed like Kawhi was running the team. Doc Rivers is now gone. Paul George said it was Doc Rivers' fault that he didn't have a good season. It's a very curious year for them to see how this team is going to work. What to expect from the Los Angeles Clippers. So before we start the video, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think the record is going to be? How do you think the team is going to do? And do you think Ty Lue was a good signing? So let's talk about what to expect from the Los Angeles Clippers this year. Ty Lue, probably the most famous thing he's known for is being the man that LeBron actually would listen to, which is great. I think Doc Rivers and him are both at the same level of coaching. They're both good coaches. And I know Doc Rivers, that came out recently, Paul George was like, they don't do practices. They didn't do practices ever. And I think maybe Ty Lue will change that. I don't know what Ty Lue's practice philosophy is. I haven't done enough research on practice. I know we're talking about practice right here. Practice. We're really talking about practice. I'm done. Sorry. But either way, though, Ty Lue, he did show some X's and O's, running plays with Kyle Korver and Kevin Love to open up shooting, or Kyle Korver to get open shots that I liked. I like how he opened up the three-point shooting. I think Paul George will actually have a better season because of Ty Lue. So will Kawhi. I think this team, they'll listen more. There'll be more chemistry. I think Ty Lue will be able to do that, create a good chemistry. The offense will still run through Kawhi and Paul George. I don't know how you do it. I think Paul George will be utilized correctly if it is true that he wasn't being utilized correctly by Doc Rivers, which we did see, but obviously there's more to it than what we see, behind the closed doors. Though Ty Lue definitely is a phenomenal coach. He's a guy who's just going to grind and hustle every day for you. And I don't think he's ever going to take anyone's shit. He's going to get the job done. I think they're going to be the second seed at most. PG was bad, guys. And I don't think it was his fault. I agree. I think it was the Doc Rivers' fault. Doc Rivers wanted to use him like Ray Allen, which I don't think was right. Yeah, if we want to look, his PR was 21. But we're talking about in the bubble, he was not good. And even in the postseason, he was not good. 33% from three. Okay, and even field goal percentage was under 40%. At 39, it was about 40%. But I think we'll see Paul George bounce back with Ty Lue. Ty Lue is really good with being a manager of personalities. I think he'll do a really good job there. He'll make sure Paul George gets his touches. He'll make sure Paul George and Kawhi get their touches. But I really think Paul George choked at the playoffs. In a sense, he played like shit in the playoffs. And I think that's something Ty Lue will help. But at the end of the day, if it happens again, then it's not Ty Lue. It means Paul George just chokes in the playoffs. But I do think Paul George, when he's at the top of his game, he's one of the best, if not the best defensive wing, there's probably a few guys you can put ahead of him, but when he's up there, he can be so good defensively, and it's so nice seeing him. And he's a player who's worked on his craft for countless years, and he's where he's at. I was trying to say I'm about to sneeze. That was sorry for your ears if you just heard me sneeze. That probably just hurt. Paul George has worked countlessly for years to get where he's at. And, I really do think Doc Rivers was not the coach for him. And he was trying to get him to play the shooter role, be just a 3-and-D guy, essentially. That's not what Paul George is. He's an all-star. He's a superstar. Can Kawhi just, LeBron this team? I know Kawhi is more of a reserve guy and he leads by example, but I really want to see Kawhi just take the bull by the balls and just tell, yo, motherfuckers, listen to me. This is how we're going to do it. I'm going to be taking the main shots. I'm going to take the clutch shots. He probably has said this, but because I know I've heard he has canceled practice. But I want him to continue being alpha dog and to get his player, elevate the rest of his team. That's what I want Kawhi to do. I love Kawhi, but I want him to elevate the rest of his team And, like I said, take the bull by the balls and just take control of the situation. I love Serge Ibaka. I love him. You guys remember when there was that whole rumor that people thought Serge was older? I don't know if that was just me who remembers that. But either way, let's talk about Serge Ibaka. This guy, last year, he only played 55 games. But he spent the past 3 years, or 4 years pretty much, in Toronto. And man, 3.5, let's say, because he did get traded in 2016, 2017 from Orlando after playing like 50 games for them. But either way, I digress. He had 15.6 points, which was 15.4 points, which was pretty much like a career high in scoring for the man. Like, compared to all his other seasons, he had one of the best scoring years of his career. Obviously, this was the first season in his career that he didn't average a 1 block a game at least. He had 0.8 blocks. He's not really the rim protector he once was. You guys remember back in the day when he was at OKC where he had like 3 blocks a game for back-to-back years? Oh, he was insane. That was insane. But he did shoot 38% from 3, which he has done regularly for the past 6 years. He has shot regularly from the 38%. But for the past 2 years, he did shoot 52% from the field goal. So this is me just saying the stats because I want to put these numbers in your head. And I really think that this team, getting Serge Ibaka, we saw what was going on with Montrezl Harrell. They were getting destroyed, just destroyed. They couldn't fight the guy. They couldn't get the guy to fight on defense. He was just really good on offense, and they were better with Zubac, who they kept. Zubac's still there. Zubac is a fantastic player, and I will see that Ibaka and Zubac will be playing a lot together next year, splitting time, situational type stuff, which I think is a phenomenal choice for them. Luke Kennard, I guess they got rid of Landry Shamet for him because he's more established, because he's more like, I personally, he's more efficient. Luke Kennard, I don't know if he'll play as good as defense as Landry. I'm not saying Landry Shamet was an amazing defender either. I'm not trying to hype him up as a good defender. He really just averaged half a steal a game, which Luke Kennard does too. They're both the same defenders. Luke Kennard's a better shooter, has a more efficient field goal. He's a more established player. Though, I'm pretty sure he's on the final year of his deal. And look, Luke Kennard, he'll shoot the ball better. He's another scorer you got, and he can come off the bench and actually could be 12 to 15 points a game for you consistently. Just because, I'm saying that range because he probably won't get as many touches as he did when he was on the Pistons. One thing that I think Landry Shamet might be a tad bit more athletic than Luke Kennard. Nothing more. Not insanely more athletic. Well, when I was talking about that Kyle Korver play and Kevin Love play, I really think Landry Shamet would have ran it better than Luke Kennard. But Luke Kennard will be able to run it just as well. I think they brought in Luke Kennard to get a guy who is more established. You know what you're getting 100%. I think they didn't like Landry Shamet's streakiness, which is fine. You can completely understand that. So I really do expect Luke Kennard to kind of be the sixth man of this team that isn't Lou Williams. So I guess the seventh man. He'd be the seventh man. He'll be the sixth-man shooter, unless, I wouldn't be surprised if they started him at shooting guard. I wouldn't be surprised at that either. But I really do see him being that guy, being the seventh man off the bench like that. The seventh man, the guy who just comes off and gives that shooting prep, three-point stretch and stuff, while Lou Williams more of the scorer, just a six-man in general. Big fan of Danny Oturo. Coming out of Minnesota, I've heard him being compared to a poor man's Joel Embiid, which I think is a great comparison, except that he isn't that post player. He can play in the post, but he's not going to be. He's going to be a really good three-point shooter, eventually one of the best stretch big men in the league. He's going to be one of the better rim protection, and eventually be able to step out on power forwards. I think this is a guy, if you are a Clippers fan, keep your eyes out for him. He's going to be phenomenal. A really fun guy to watch. But yeah, that was the video, guys. Let me hear your opinions down below in the comment section about this team. What do you think of them? As always, guys, I hope you guys have a great day, because I know I will. So, guys, peace out.